It's clearly the wrong thing. Here you go. Welcome everybody to season 5, episode 31 of the Focus TV. We have Octavia Wyatt, Raymond Lyons, Cardo Dudley Jr., and Wilson Tarpe Jr. Got quite a bit to get through tonight. As always, going to start with NBA Finals. We'll get into some mystics, ready to update you guys on what's been going on with them. Cardo is going to let you guys know who made the second session team Finest Bag Open Run. That was the second installment was this past weekend. A quick update on DC United. Then we're going to get in some rapid fire. We got some 9-450 for you all. So we'll start with the NBA Finals. Games 1 and 2. We're done. The series is tied 1 apiece as it shifts to Boston. You guys just saw some of the clips from Media Day ahead of Game 3. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on Games 1 and 2. Octavia, we'll start with you, and then as we look forward to Games 3 and 4.
Games 1 and 2 was not what I expected. Honestly, I mean, I expected for Golden State to come out tough. I mean, they had a week off basically. Boston just got through with a 7-game series against the Miami Heat. And to be honest, you know, Boston is probably lucky to be tied 1-1 right now anyway. They were pretty much outplayed for most all of the fourth quarter of Game 1. Although at halftime of each game, it was pretty close. I mean, Game 1, I honestly think in Game 1, Jason Tatum had a better efficiency night. I know he didn't shoot well, but he still was very much involved with the game. I mean, he had a career high, I think they said 13 assists, and was able to spread the ball around. And the quote unquote others did what they were supposed to do, but especially in the fourth quarter. And then you knew one of them had to get going between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and it just happened to be Jaylen Brown's night, and he's the one that really kept them in the game starting off. I think he had 10 points starting in the fourth quarter to keep them close, because as we can tell from Games 1 and Games 2, and from pretty much all the time, Golden State is pretty dangerous in the third quarter. They come out at halftime always very ready to go, adjustments being done and being made, and they just always have their foot on the pedal. But I'm still a little kind of concerned. You know, Klay Thompson hasn't been shooting that well. I can't remember what he did in the first game. Second game, he was 4 of 19. He missed a lot of up close, right at the basket shots. He just doesn't look himself. So to think that they still, you know, granted, they should have probably feel like they should have won Game 1 because they played pretty much a complete game into those last 6 to 8 minutes of the fourth quarter where, well, I'll say the whole fourth quarter because, like I said, Jaylen Brown started really, really well in the fourth quarter. Excuse me. But for them to be one game to one game, and Klay hasn't really gotten really started, and Jordan Poole didn't really show up in Game 1. It's really been Steph that's been carrying them. You know, we can probably already say if Golden State wins this game, this series, that Steph will finally get the elusive MVP of the finals that everybody keeps talking about. But I mean, he had 21 points in the first quarter of the first game. Granted, he ended, I think they said like 35. He had 13 in the second half. So they were able to get that together. Boston has made good adjustments from the first game as well. I don't know what they were doing, switching under on stuff, which was crazy. Steph was just getting wide open threes, and it's just like, have you guys never seen Golden State play before? It didn't make any sense. But all in all, with everything that happens in Game 1 and Game 2, Boston is still in a great position. Jason Tatum hasn't had a breakout game as well. Al Horford had a great game one. I don't even think if he did, I think he had like 4 points in game two. Didn't even get up a three in game two. And Marcus Smart didn't play well in game two as well. Obviously, Draymond Green got under a lot of their skin in that game. There's a lot of talk about should he have gotten a second technical or not. It's just Draymond. Like at this point, I feel like everybody should know this. And I mean, granted, it's easier said than done to like not let it really affect you in the heat of the moment. But this is what he does. You know, he's trying to get you riled up and he's trying to get you out of your game, and it worked. So hopefully they're more prepared for that in this next game, especially it being a home game. And they did what they were supposed to do. You know, all things aside, you know, they stole a game on the road, and that's all they can really hope for. So now they just got to go back home and defend home court to see if they'll be able to take a lead in the series.
Ricardo and then Ray.
Yeah, for me, it kind of just how the Boston Celtics did the Warriors in game one. The Warriors kind of did the similar thing to them in game two. They were just a more physical, defensive-minded team. And, I know Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum got off to hot starts, but once the Warriors locked in defensively, it was nothing that, Boston could do. They got rattled dealing with Draymond, him talking trash to Grant Williams, getting physical with Jaylen Brown. I like the adjustment Kerr did. Clay, I think it's just fatigue coming off 2 years not playing. He's not as explosive, similar to what we saw in Denver. I keep comparing it to. It takes time for your body to adjust. And I just think we're just seeing it right now. You got to also understand he came in halfway through the season. So right now at this point, this All-Star break, so he's tired, and it just happened to be the biggest stage in basketball. And I like the adjustment they put Clay on Al Horford. So Al Horford couldn't, pretty much the only thing he was left to do was try to post up, and the Warriors defense is too good for that. So Clay is still quick and spry enough to get out there and get up under Al Horford. So close out, take away his airspace. And it's not like Al Horford's going to beat him off the dribble. So that's what made it tough for Al Horford. And then Draymond Green was on Jaylen Brown. Heavy, being physical, just doing what you got to do, engaging in mental warfare. That's a part of defense. A lot of people who may not play the game or don't like that type of basketball or not used to that, didn't grow up in the city on the playgrounds, they may be unaware of that, but that's what goes on. If I could take you out your game, then that helps me out. Then you're an easy win. We ain't got to worry about you no more. You saw Grant Williams talking, and, Grant Williams, he's fight two months. He let Draymond get to him, and he's let the refs get to him. Like, let's be honest, we haven't heard from him since the Milwaukee Bucks game when he made all those threes. You know what I mean? But that's part of being a young player. He has to learn how to play through all that. And the defense stepped up in a major way overall as a team. I like what I saw from Steph sliding on Marcus Smart. He took him out of the game, but still did what he does on offense and whatnot. Wiggins, it's a similar dynamic dealing with Tatum. Look. Just they're gonna get their numbers because they're gonna get a lot of shots and make them highly inefficient. That's a win. You know what I mean? And Kevin Looney grabbing the boards. But the thing that was most impressive with the Warriors is they scored 33 points off 19 Boston Celtics turnovers. And then of course the third quarter run. The first two games, the Warriors outscoring the Celtics 73-38 in the third quarters. Boston got to figure something out. Because like Octavia said, had the Warriors just composed themselves more in the fourth quarter in game one, this could easily be 2 Warriors going to Boston. You know what I mean? So this next game is going to be a momentum deal. This is a momentum game. Who's going to kind of seize control? Warriors can get back home court advantage, or Boston can kind of, be halfway there. So I'm just deliver a hard jab to the Warriors. Like, yeah, we here. Like, we halfway there, where they have to really buckle down, man. So we're going to see, man. It's interesting because, like we said, I'm not worried about the stars for either team. But even with the Warriors, they're new role players. And with the Celtics, this kind of being their first time, I'm focusing on the role players when they go on the road to see if they travel. And that's something so far with the Celtics, it was been inconsistent. We're going to see if the Warriors are better going to Boston.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, Boston, they went out west and did what they had to do. They came back with at least one win. But now, they got to defend home court and take back control of the series. Uh, Draymond showed his value in game two. Like that's what he does. He disrupts teams. He gets guys flustered, and then they're worried about him instead of worrying about the game. On top of that, he played tremendous defense. So yeah, man, but that's a part of the experience factor with Golden State being here before and Boston's first time kind of being on the stage. So they just gotta have be tougher mentally, man, because that's the game is played above the shoulders. They got to be prepared for that. From a basketball standpoint, yeah, they gotta manage those third quarters better. They can't get outperformed that badly consistently. We know that's a trademark of Golden State or what have you, but they if they want to have a chance in this series, they got to respond better than that. Keep it manageable. Just don't get blasted in the third quarter. Because you're not gonna have fourth quarters like you had in game one too regularly, where you outscore them 40-16. Like that's just not a reasonable expectation. So yeah, they got to figure that out, and they got to figure it out quick. They'll be at home, so it'll be this game will be interesting, man, because like Cardell said, it's a momentum game for both teams. Like whoever wins is going to put that much more pressure on the other team. It would definitely serve Boston well to go ahead and get this one. It'll just relieve some pressure, because if they go down 2-1, each game just that cloud gets darker and darker, man. And then with this being the first time they've experienced this level, that would just concern me to see how they respond. But they've been there. It's 1-1. Right now they got just as good a chance as Golden State to win it. They just got to execute, man. They have to figure out a way to get Tatum and Brown. They got to get them better opportunities. Tatum didn't shoot well the first game. He had a little coming out party the second game, but most of it was threes. He had 6 threes. Outside of that, he didn't do too much damage. So yeah, they got to be better about that. They got to find a way to take advantage in places that they have the advantage. Like if Poole's going to be out there, you got to find a way to make Golden State pay for that, because he's really not that strong defensively. So they got some figuring out to do, man. But yeah, I'm just excited to see how the rest of the series plays out.
Yeah, just to wrap things up, yeah, I just think I'm interested to see how Boston reacts to the personnel changes from the Warriors. Not so much just schematically, like the minutes they got from Belly, it changes things. It changes the math on both ends of the court. And Gary Payton, that ball pressure, man, it works wonders. We know how Boston is at times, taking care of or not taking care of the basketball. And again, grade A irritant. He's one of those people where you look at the box score, you're like, but you feel him. You know the difference in the games when he's there and when he's not there. And then, I know we talked about this several times on different platforms, but the health of Robert Williams, big for Boston going forward as well. But yeah, like for Boston, you got to take care of home court. But even if we go back a series, they haven't done a great job taking care of home court throughout this postseason run. So like you guys said, I'm with you guys. Game 3 is very pivotal. It's like y'all both mentioned, you're Boston. The last thing you want is to be down 2-1. You give home court back, and you're playing a veteran team who's been here before in terms of getting greedy on the road. So we'll see how things go, but thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 games. Yeah, and that third quarter thing, Cardell been saying it for years. Like that third quarter with Golden State's been real. It's one of those things you hear about, and I don't think it really hits teams. Like you could prepare for it in theory until you're there, and then the adjustments they make coming out the half are crazy. But yeah, like you guys said, Boston got to figure something out with that third quarter, and then the biggest thing so far is which team takes care of the ball better. Period. has played a big role in both of these games. Y'all have anything final you want to add? Because I know by the next time we talk to you all, man, I don't know if the finals still gonna be going on or what's gonna be happening by next week when we talk to y'all. So if y'all had anything else to say, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll move on.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to say is that it's definitely really going to be interesting too, knowing that Boston is 6-0 after they lose a game this playoff series in the playoffs this year. So they usually have a really big bounce back game, and they're going to really need a big bounce back game tomorrow night if they want to, like you both said, stay above water, because it is going to be tough to lose home court. If you lose tomorrow night, and then all the pressure is on you to at least break even on Friday.
All right, Ray, we're gonna hand things over to you. What's been going on with the Washington Mystics?
Oh man, since we last saw each other, they on a 2-game slide right now, man. They had a hot start to the season. They started 6-1. Currently, they sit at 7-5. They're 5-5 in their last 10. So they're going through a little bit of things here. They've been hit with some health and safety protocol stuff. They've been without Coach Tebow for a couple games. Also, Alicia Clark was out, and Natasha Cloud for a couple games. So yeah, they're dealing with that. But overall, offensively they've been an up and down team, man. Their defense has held up for the most part, which is good. That was their rallying cry in training camp and in the preseason. So it's good to see they're committed to that side of the ball. But their offense has been just a little stagnant at times. And granted, there's been some fluctuation with personnel, but it is what it is, man. They knew that coming into the season, so they just got to find a way to execute a little better and be more efficient. The last game they had 15 turnovers against Chicago. That's really uncharacteristic of them. Natasha Cloud had 4 herself. So she's got to be a little more shorthanded with the basketball. Chicago, they've been a thorn in their side. They played them earlier this season at home, and Candace Parker had her way with a triple double. Kalea Copper, she did her thing. So looks like Chicago's just a pretty bad matchup for them, just in general. They get a chance for some payback tomorrow night, back at home against the Sky. So we'll see how that goes. They'll have their full complement of players. So maybe that we'll see more consistency from them. Just for them being in a state of normalcy for once. But there are some bright spots. Elizabeth Williams came over late, but she's starting to find her way, and she's starting to look more and more comfortable with each game. Shakira Austin, she had a pretty good start to the season, but she's still playing hard, but looks like that rookie wall is coming, which isn't an indictment on her game. It's just that adjustment period. Teams are, they've realized they now have to deal with her. And, Cardell always says, once the scouting report catches up, we kind of see who you really are as a player. So yeah, she's just going through a learning curve right now, man. It's to be expected. So it's not too much reason for worry there. But their backcourt is going to be pretty much where they live or die. So they got an all-star level backcourt. Both of them are good on both sides of the basketball. But they're going to have to rise to the occasion even more. Especially with Elena's missing her playing time. So with her, she's still trying to get back to 100%. So yeah, a lot is going to be riding on Ariel Atkins and Natasha Cloud, and they just got to respond to the call. But yeah, like I said, they got Chicago tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully they can get back on the winning side of things. Muted, Wilson.
Appreciate it. Like you said, Ray. They got off to a quick start this year. They're at 7-5 right now. What you don't want to do is start or continue any type of slide. We know how we've seen in past years. Sometimes you get too far down, it's hard to climb back up, especially in this league, and it's tough right now. We're gonna take our first break of the night. When we get back, Cardell's gonna let you guys know who stood out in the second session of the Finest Magazine Open Runs. You're watching the Focus TV. We will return shortly. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, Cardell, the second session to find his bag open run. Who stood out to you?
Yeah, it was like you said, second week of double run, second of three. And it was more guard oriented, but same thing, same deal, variety of different guys from college and a couple of high school prospects, that try to see where they fit in with college guys. And one definitely stood out. I'm gonna start with him, Caden Lewis. He's a rising junior going into next year. Just finished his sophomore year at St. John's College High School in DC. 6'3", combo guard. He can play point guard and shooting guard, and he thoroughly impressed me, man. If you didn't know that he was a high school player, you wouldn't have known. You would have thought he was in college or something. I know I told Wilson, I was like, yeah, he in high school, and Wilson was kind of shocked. He was like, what? Like, so.
Still am.
Yeah.
I need to see papers. Like, nah.
You need his birth certificate.
I need documentation. Nah, like, I'm sorry, Cardell, and I'll be quiet after this. He played with a poise like he been here before. It's not a high school kid. All right. Like, he looks comfortable. Like, look, man, I still don't believe it. If he show up this week, I want to talk to a parent, something.
Yeah, man, he's special, man. Hit college range 3-pointers, contested on the move, dishing the rock. Understands how to play defense, help side. When they was rotating, he was closing out, rotating to the next man, recovering, getting blocks, playing sound defensively. The only thing that he kind of had trouble with, which is to be expected, is the physicality part. These guys in college, they've been lifting and whatnot. Sometimes he got bumped, got roughed up a little bit inside, but he also delivered some punishment himself, man. He's special, man. Just to be going in, his 11th grade year. It's scary to see where he's gonna be by the time he graduates high school, and I think he's gonna be, I think he's gonna be one of the top players in our area, for sure, man. But he definitely belonged, and had to make a couple calls to some D1 coaches that I know, and was like, yeah, you might want to get on that now before it's too late, man. So, shout out to Caden Lewis. Next up is Dylan Edwards, Miami-Dade College. He actually was nearly about to miss open run. He had a pull run, but still came, showed up, led his team to 3 straight victories, scoring, dishing the rock, leading, defending, and then his groin injury flared up. Obviously, smart thing is to sit out after that, but 3 straight wins in his first 3 games, man. You can't ask for a better performance than that. Jahari Simons from PG Community College, he going in his sophomore year, shot the hell out the ball, play outstanding defense, incredible shape, pressing 94 feet, taking on the challenge. He was one of the more competitive players in the gym, talking trash, trying to get everybody riled up. And normally he's quiet. I know him since he was high school. He kind of just let us play, do the talking, but you can tell he's on a mission right now. Trying to get better, trying to improve so he can have a great season next year. Because the thing with JUCO, you got 2 years, man. You got 2 years to show what you can do. And if you don't track no offers, that's it. That's it for basketball, man. So it was a sense of urgency in them. And I definitely appreciated that. Antoine Jacks, former good counsel point guard, Fairleigh Dickinson is a transfer from Fairleigh Dickinson. Improved as a shooter from high school. He always brought the defense. Fast and quick point guard. Only thing with him, he has to learn how to slow down a little bit and play with more poise and know how to mix up his speed. Right now, he's just 100 miles per hour. They work sometimes, but other times he looks out of control. But, man, he did his fair share of damage, man, especially be a 6-foot point guard, man. Scoring in transition at will. He found countless shooters. He had some tough shots from the outside, which is encouraging. Knock on him was he wasn't a great shooter, so I could tell he's working. And, he's just tough. He's 6 feet, but he's a stocky 6 feet. He's not a slim, small 6 feet. And he thrived, man. So excited to see what he does this upcoming week. And last but not least, MVP Trey Book out of Livingstone. He pretty much just cooked everybody, man. It was a stretch where I think he scored like 8 straight baskets over 2 games. Like it was bad. Like it wasn't just like layups either. It was just one leg runners from 15 feet, 3-pointers, transition baskets, off the dribble, post up, mid post, lobs. He cooked you pretty much any way possible that a basketball player can cook you. And thing I like about him is he's no nonsense, man. You know, he wasn't no smiling, it wasn't no pat myself on the back because I'm hitting a few shots. He was in kill mode, and he did his thing, man. And he deserved the MVP nod.
Yeah, he did. During that stretch, like you said, from every part of the floor, equal opportunity buckets were given. Man, and that's back-to-back weeks. I've enjoyed watching him play. And like you said, this week definitely got going. Third and final week is this week. Looking forward to it. So next week when we see you guys, Carter will have let you guys know who stood out this coming week, and then probably who stood out overall, the all session team. DC United update. I told you guys last week they're in the midst of an international break. Therefore, international games are being played. National players are playing for their national teams. Those players that aren't playing for the national teams, a little bit. A little bit of downtime. But two friendlies were played during this week, pretty much. DC United had two friendlies in the Capital Cup. The Black and Red gets back to MLS play on the 18th. Something to keep an eye on, though. Again, and this is me projecting and talking about news that may break or may happen between now and the next time we talk to you guys, right? So there have been several reports, multiple reports over the past couple days, some more today, that Edison Flores may be on the move. If that does indeed happen, that would give DC United two DP spots or two designated player spots. So when they go into the summer transfer window, they can bring in two, if everything goes right, you go in and bring in two high-profile players, two players that, you spend some money. That's what those slots are for. Money goes out to that. Money is spent towards those three slots. You have three of those slots, and that would open two of them, and we'll see what happens. Again, this is something that may happen by the next time I talk to you guys. We will see, but again, they return to MLS play on the 18th, and they're trying to climb their way back up the standings. Obviously, still a long way to go, but they got some work to get done. 9-4-50 breakdown this week. It's a breakdown of low pickups and different shots. Again, breakdown of low pickups and different shots. We'll see you guys when we return. You're watching the Focus TV. I want to thank Jamal Hayward for the 9-4-50 breakdown. Welcome back to the Focus TV. And Cardell, we got some time for rapid fire. A couple questions. What you got for us?
Yeah, I got a few questions that I'm sure will warrant some spirited conversation. The first one we're going to address on the NBA side is all the talk of shortening the NBA season. Adam Silver obviously spoke out right before the start of the finals last week, after we aired the show from last week. Said the NBA would reportedly shorten its regular season from 82 to 78 games, and with the in-season tournament kind of being, the difference from traditional season as far as the total number of games. Though enthusiasm for the play-in tournament itself remains shallow, many people will welcome a shorter regular season. They see the 82-game schedule as too long, too grueling, too likely to lead to injury without enough games carrying significance. Of course, 4 fewer games will mean 4 fewer opportunities for players to get hurt. Adam Silver said what we don't see is increased numbers of injuries as the season goes on. It's not as if because of fatigue over the course of a season, you see more injuries. We do see a connection between actual fatigue, for example, from back-to-backs or 3 in a row. We think that potentially can lead to more injuries. Obviously, former NBA player Richard Jefferson, he made a lot of waves last week right after, calling, the talk of shortening the NBA season, the epitome of coddling players. Jefferson argued shortening the NBA season would interfere with records and numbers. He said it's absurd. They have done every single thing. You want to shorten the season. Like, how much more do we have to make this coddling and all this stuff go with the players? Shortening the season, you're going to mess with records, you're going to mess with numbers, you're going to mess with so much about basketball. Professional sports is not good on your body. It's supposed to separate the people that can do it from the people that can't do it. Part of greatness is longevity. I think this is a joke. Former NBA shooting guard JJ Redick, he spoke on it saying the reality is the wear and tear on our bodies is very different than it was 20 to 30 years ago. and that's a fact. So, Octavia, I'll start with you, man. Just what are your thoughts on the NBA shortening the season from 82 to 78? Like 4 games really gonna matter. Go ahead.
I mean, that was the first thing I was going to say. I was like, if we talking about shortening the season, because when I first heard about it, for somebody said 58. So like that's when I was like, okay, that's a lot. But for you to say 4 games, I'm like, first of all, is it even worth it? Like either way, like, okay, 4 games is not making a big difference in my book. Two, the thing that just caught me off guard was what you said that JJ Redick said as far as like the wear and tear on our bodies nowadays is nothing like it was then. But I'm confused because like back then, that's when you could really hand check, you could really like punch somebody and like nothing happens. Nowadays, like you get a foul if you breathe on somebody. So I don't understand what you mean the wear and tear is different. Like maybe it should be less. Especially because nowadays you have way more accessibility to more trainers, more tests, and all of these things, and that people have discovered upon time going forward that they didn't have back in the day. Like I'm sure like your trainer has a trainer. Like everybody has a trainer, and like you have somebody that's always there to help you with some type of physical aspect or whatever. So I agree. I mean, the 4 games itself to me just doesn't make any sense either way. Like 82, 78, what's the big difference? But I definitely agree with the fact that it's like, dang, I mean, like how much less of the NBA are y'all trying to make this? Like it's already kind of getting watered down with everything. And I just think it comes with them just trying to constantly reinvent stuff that doesn't need to be reinvented. Like the NBA has been around for 75 years. It doesn't seem like you need to change too much, but I do think it's kind of whack that they're talking about like we need more rest and we need like they've been doing it for 75 years. Like what makes you different?
Right.
It's I agree with Richard Jefferson, man. Like it's stupid. Why you gotta it's funny how they talk about how much superior this area is, but they do everything possible to make it easier. Like if you're superior, you should be able to withstand more opposition, right? You're not supposed to be going the other way. So I really don't even have too much to say, man, because it's just a revolving conversation that's just stupid and worthless, man. Then to 4 games like that, well, how much more rest you gonna get? But yeah, like it was a time back in my day. it was a badge of honor to play all 82.
Yeah.
And now we got guys resting, like being healthy scratches. Like what is that, man? Like I just want somebody to tell me a time at their job when they can just decide not to come. With just no other explanation than I just don't feel like it today. Like, dude, be professional, man. Like these are the parameters of your job to play 82 games. If you're injured, okay, so be it. Like everybody has common sense. Nobody's going to expect you to play with the injury that prevents you from playing. But if you're able to play, then play. So yeah, I'm just I don't know if I am turned into a get off my lawn guy, but I don't think I am. I think I'm just holding people to the standard that was already put in place, and the standard is 82 games. If you don't want to do that, find another league to play in. You got options, man. So it is what it is, man. If they do it, cool. If they don't, it's whatever. But JJ Redick, man, he got to chill because it's no way that the wear and tear is worse today than it was when dudes was playing in ponies. Like, come on, man. Like, be realistic here. And like Octavia pointed out, the physicality of the game is way different. And back then they had less time to play these 82 games. They started the season after and ended before than they do now. So They had 82 games and the playoffs compressed into a much shorter time period. So I don't want to hear anything about it's more demanding. It's not more demanding. Just man up, play the 82, or find something else to do with your life.
Wilson.
Yeah, there's no way in heck with all the technological advances that this was tougher now than back then. People have full blown superhero chambers that they can reset their bodies in and rehab. Like injuries that would have altered someone's career are now like, oh, just rub some dirt on it. We'll see you in 7 months. And your new ligament that we built from scratch should hold up just fine, and it does. All right, so let's relax with that. And then also, like, your argument, not you guys, but like the argument loses water quick when you go from 82 to 78. 4 less games is the dramatic change, which means you're perfectly aware of what more games look like, because more games, your pocket gets affected. So y'all won't go too far. So a bunch of this is just like Ray said, it's literally a bunch of nothing. That 4 games isn't going to do anything. Or how about this? When the training staff's like, hey, maybe y'all shouldn't play, some of y'all should just listen. It's an 82 game season. Listen to the professionals at times and stop trying to force your way on the court. Some of you just need to take better care of your bodies. Take your job more seriously. Again, the technological advances in medicine give you a huge advantage. What are we doing here? Like, you really got some NBA players acting like y'all in the NFL. They're going through it. That's a whole different thing. Like them adding 17 to 18 where there's 17 car crashes a game. I will entertain that. This,
I mean, they got an extra game now.
right?
Y'all reducing y'all's. They added one.
This is for 4 games. And the worst part is, if you do the midseason tournament thing, some of y'all gonna play excess at 82.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Or am I wrong for that someone's math isn't mathing? Like, all right, hey, whatever.
Yeah, it to me is money driven. It's money based. The money is going up, so the front offices of the teams are trying to protect their investment. And of course, these, like Richard Jefferson said, entitled players of today, not all of the players, but it's enough. Clearly, of course, they would love to try to make the same amount of money and do less work. I don't even know, a lot of them even had a job a day in their life, so they don't understand that dynamic. It's always been sports. So they don't understand having like, yo, you don't show the work, you get fired, and you can't pay bills, and your ass might be homeless. They never had to deal with that. You know what I mean? So their perspective on that is just out of whack, man. And back to the entitlement part, when we grew up, you heard players say, man, y'all paying y'all hard-earned money to come see me. I'm going to get y'all a show. It was like, I owe it to y'all to get y'all a show. The vibe I'm getting nowadays from a lot of players is like, you should be honored to come and watch me play. And it's like, nah, bro, a lot of y'all ain't even good enough to even worth paying to come see. Like, it's just facts, man. Like, they just taking it. It's taking a shortcut. Matter of fact, I got a book with Michael Jordan. Like when I was in college, he just kind of put his thoughts on a lot of things throughout his career and whatnot. Man, he called it. He said, "We're becoming a shortcut culture, and one day we're gonna wake up and see players not playing hurt. You're gonna see players sitting out games because they're not gonna see examples of players doing that, and then it's gonna hurt the overall product that's on the floor. And I'd be damned if it ain't happening." Because he said it's a lot easier to talk about Jerry West and guys playing hurt compared to seeing it. You don't even see that, like healthy scratches. And I got you as if you injured and you can't play, then sit down. But if you just banged up and stuff, no, you gotta go to work, bro. Like, what you think the dude and woman is doing, working double shifts? You don't think they tired and hurt? But they gotta go make this money, and they making far less money than you. So you can't get sympathy from the member of society, the average citizen that's just walking around. You're not gonna get too much sympathy from them, because it's like, dude, I would kill to be in your position to make like some of y'all averaging 5 points but making 9 figures. I would love to do that. And I guarantee you, if you ask the guys in the G League, overseas, and guys barely playing, do you give a damn about an 82 game season? Like, hell no. Where do I sign up? Hell no. I would sign up. And it goes back to Ray's point. Dog, playing basketball is optional. You do not have to play sports. Like, that's a choice. You can go do something else, man. Do what you got to do. But they're fucking up the game, man. And that's what's irritating me for a guy that loves the game, is giving me so much or whatever. It's they're watering it down. It's similar to what you saw with what we see in boxing. Guys used to fight like 4 or 5 times a year. Now you might fight once a year, if that. Some dudes go 2 or 3 years without fighting and still be champs. And then the organization's got to force them to fight. Like, if you don't fight in this certain amount of time, you got to give up the belt. That's ridiculous because they making so much money. They just living it up, man. Like, nah. And for JJ Redick to say that, that's BS. And I don't watch these shows because it's always a bunch of BS. They take half truths to just prove their points. But here's a point here. He said 20, 30 years ago. So he brought up pace. He's saying that pace today is far greater than years ago. So I'm going to break one down. From the 85-86 season, the Boston Celtics were the NBA champs that year. The average pace in the league was 102.1 possessions a game. All right. This year, 98.2 possessions. Literally this past season. Something ain't adding up. It was more physical. It was more physical. Guys had to play more games, compact, and play all 82, more compact, more physical. Playing with the traditional centers that they say couldn't play today because they don't shoot threes, they're not as skilled, whatever the hell that means. And they still got more possession. Hell, the NBA champ Boston Celtics had 101.2. They'd have been tops in the league this year in possessions. And they had Bird, Mikal, and Parrish, 2 traditional bigs in the all-world wing. And Bill Walton coming off the bench. So that, see what I'm saying? Like, even that argument don't hold weight. And CJ McCollum, dog, like, he got to chill, dog. Like, I know you the president talking about I got to do his best for the players. Man, he'd be a great politician because he loved playing both sides. You could just see it in him. He's grateful. I'm a chill, but y'all know where I'm getting at, man. But they got to stop with the BS, man. That's why I love Giannis, man. And that's why he just happens to be the best player in the game right now. I love Giannis because he has an old school work ethic, but look where he comes from. He come from the gutter. He wasn't spoiled. He had to fight and earn every single damn thing. A lot of these guys been coddled and stuff since they were in AU, and you seeing the results of it. Those got to get, like, they got to be held accountable. Like, it goes back to that. 82 games is the standard. This is the standard. Either you can reach it or you can't. So if they load a number of games this season, I don't want to hear no more damn debates about who the greatest of this and all that, because y'all can't be compared to the players that came before. It's just as simple as that. It's like the championship when the Spurs won in 99. Yeah, they got a championship, but you saw a whole lot of bro. That ain't the same as going through 82 games and winning a ring compared to 50-some games, a lockout short season and winning a ring or whatnot. It ain't the same. And Tim Duncan, and they were like, cool. So Tim Duncan just got 4 more to make sure he nipped that in the you know what I'm saying? That's what you do. But if he had that one, you can make that argument because it's not the same grind. That's what all it is. You don't go through the same grind, so you shouldn't get the same, it doesn't warrant the same respect. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what's, man. And it's true. It's not always the players. The teams do it. They do sit out. I think you're gonna get hurt. And they don't even practice. Like, they don't even practice no more. They just do shoot-arounds. That's just to keep them staying rhythm for the games and stuff. They don't practice. They don't play back-to-backs. It's a week off. It's everything Richard Jefferson saying. Like, how much more advantages do y'all need just to play basketball? But this also brings us the most important point. Majority of players in the league don't love the game. It's just there because they can be and it pays good.
Yep.
And that's the problem. And until they vex those people out, even the people in the front office, they don't love the game. They just there because it's something to post on Instagram. I work in the league. So until they start vexing those type of people out, get real basketball people on, the game's going to keep going this way. And eventually, what I'm scared of is they're going to turn the public off. And if you turn the public off, all that money and all the way the old former players built the game up to what it is today, that's going to go to hell. And ask baseball how hard it is to get those people to come back. We're gonna move on some more positive. Well, not right now. We're gonna go to the WNBA. Derek Fisher. Woo. Yeah, he got fried today from the Sparks, man. Not a good day for him, obviously. Finishes career with the Sparks with a 54-46 record. On behalf of our ownership group, I want to thank Derek for his efforts and contributions to the Sparks franchise. Sparks managing partner Eric Holloman said, "We wish him the best moving forward. I have full confidence in Fred Williams to step into the role of interim head coach, bringing a wealth of experience leading WNBA teams." The Sparks were hoping to rebound from a 12-20 campaign last season, in which they missed the postseason for the first time since 2011, despite bringing in four-time All-Star Liz Cambage and the 2020 number 4 overall draft pick Channing Carter. In the offseason, the Sparks are just 5-7 and in the 8th place in the standings to start the 2022 season, which includes a 4-game losing streak last month. Ray, let's start with you. Overdue?
Yeah. Was hey Wilson, when you gotta edit the Sam Cooke song here. It's been a long time coming, man. But yeah, this was overdue, man. Like he was on thin ice from jump. And then the thing that really sticks out is when he benched Candace in the playoffs that time. Like dude, you bench Candace in the playoffs, she leaves. Chelsea Gray leaves. Like this has been sort of a train wreck for him, man, since he got the job. So yeah, I think they just got to a point where like we cannot continue like this. No, I think this was his last chance to save his professional life there. You know, with the moves they made in the offseason, like you pointed out, bringing in Cam Page and Kennedy Carter. So yeah, you know, it's at a certain point you just got to cut your losses and you know, and try to improve moving forward. But I mean, he just didn't do a good job. That's what it is. And when you don't do a good job, you don't get to keep your job. You know, at least that's how it should be. You know, and I'm not wishing misfortune on him or anybody else, but I mean, they got a business to run, and he's affecting the business. So it is what it is, man. I hope he finds some success in his next endeavor, whatever that may be. But yeah, that was the best decision for the Sparks. Yeah, because he just wasn't performing up to standard.
Wilson.
Yeah, long time coming. I'm surprised he got to start this year as coach. So shocker. It's been a countdown to me since the year started. So I'm surprised he made it this far.
Octavia.
Same. It just seems like the Los Angeles organizations in the basketball world is just struggling over there. They lose one coach and get another coach on the other side. But yeah, just like you said, as a result, it's a results-driven environment. If your results aren't there, you're not going to have a job. So it's time to move on. And I'm sure they need some fresh blood in there, especially like you said, bringing in the 2 players that they did. You don't want to waste the time that you have with them. So you definitely got to go a different direction.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know what happens between him and Candace. Obviously, we all know Candace can be a little headstrong at times, but you know it warrants it. You got to meet her halfway. She's earned that. You know what I'm saying? Like certain players like that, you got to sit down and really just talk to them. You can't just rule with an iron fist because it's disrespectful to them. But he did, and that was the beginning of the end. Once upon a time, the Neko Gumake, she was at an MVP level. She hasn't quite been there since he arrived. You know what I mean? And look, man, you know, Cam Page, I've never been too high on. I think she thinks she's better than what she is. And, you know, the results are what they are. You know what I mean? Like, you can't lose to the Phoenix Mercury without Brittany Griner going through everything they're going through with the older Tarazi, Skylar Diggins having an inconsistent season, and you losing them. They're just on top of everything else that's going on. You just can't do it. And like you said, some of his moves is just questionable. Cam Page, man, look, she has a reputation for being a team killer. It is what it is. She's talented as hell, but she don't maximize her effort because she don't work hard enough. You can just tell. And then, you know, look, he has a starting lineup of Lexi Brown, Cam Page, and Wilson's favorite, Katie Lou Samuelson. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, not a good mix, man. So It was about that time, man. It is what it is. But last question before we all get up out of here. All-Pro defensive tackle Aaron Donald, is returning to the Rams with a big raise that would make him the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL. The Rams reworked Donald's deal to give him $40 million raise over the last 3 years of his existing contract, making him the first non-quarterback to eclipse $30 million per season. The reworked deal brings the total value of Donald's contract to $95 million over 3 years. The deal, which was negotiated by agent Todd France, includes $65 million guaranteed in the first 2 years of the contract, and is structured in such a way that Donald can either retire or return for the 2024 season for an additional $30 million guaranteed. The rework contract includes a no trade clause as well. Aaron Donald, hey man, he's 1-on-1. He's in rare company. He's one of 3 defensive players since the 1970 merger to earn a Pro Bowl selection in each of their first 8 NFL seasons, alongside Hall of Famers Lawrence Taylor, who tops with 10, and Derek Thomas, who's right behind him with 9. Wilson, what are your thoughts on Mr. Donald staying in your division to raise hell on your team?
Hey man, he the champ. It's his world. That's what he wanted to do, and he got paid for it. I would come back too. And by the way, he's still underpaid for what he does. I'm not gonna lie, just because I'm a United fan doesn't mean can't tell the truth. They need him because your guy last year, I think that was like the first time since Aaron's been there, having Vaughn last year in the postseason, where you had somebody to open stuff up for Aaron. Vaughn's no longer there. Hey man, up that pay, because that's an extra person he's gonna have to. They're gonna put an extra body in front of Aaron this year, trying to keep him from doing what he does, man. So well deserved. And if it's only 2 more years, go 10 for 10, man. Go out with a bang. 2 more All-Pro years, man. I ain't sure, man. Trey's young. Just go right off into the sunset. You got 2 more years of this? Why not? Hey.
$30 million at 3rd. Oh, he coming back for 3. Come on.
Hey, look, that's what. Hey, look, that's why I said if I got 2, was it 2 or 3 more years? Whatever it is, man. Go 10 for 10 with the Pro Bowls, All Pros. You deserve it. One of the best defensive players ever, and good for him. I'm happy. Do people deserve what they really should get in the NFL, especially on the defensive side of the ball? Yeah. So I'm happy for him.
Octavia.
Same. I mean, to me, it was a no-brainer. Like, you can't just let him walk. Like, you can't let him retire. Like, especially if you're already in the mode of trying to, repeat, go back to back. You can't do it without Aaron Donald. So it's well deserved. And like you said, he definitely could get more, and I'm sure somebody somewhere, if they have the opportunity to, would give him more to get him to their team. But it's he deserves it. The stat line he has is crazy, and he's 31, I think they said 31, 32, played 8 seasons. He could play more seasons. Like, it's not like he's lost a step. It's not like he looks like he's getting older or he's regressing or anything. He looks like he's getting better every single season. So he deserves it. And like Wilson also said, like, it's great to see when a player of that caliber gets what they deserve, because we know how stingy the NFL is with money. So it's nice to see him get all the money that he deserves.
Right.
Yeah, man, we talked about this last week. They should have had that paperwork drafted as soon as the clock struck 0 in the Super Bowl. But better late than never. It's sad that there was actually some skepticism as to whether they get this right or not, because we know how the NFL rolls. But yeah, man, it was a no-brainer, one of the easiest decisions ever. Kudos to him. Glad he got his money. And hey man, look, Wilson, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, buddy.
Glad he's not coming to the NFC.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look. All I got to say is, what's it called? The kid's young. He can move, and there's a reason they've been drafting so many offensive linemen the past couple of years. I guess our front office knew that he's not going anywhere. There's like 6 offensive linemen drafted in the last years, and he'll probably go through all of them. So shout out to Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with obviously I'm with all of y'all. I would have had a blank check waiting for him. Once we had the Super Bowl in hand, and get this out the way, so we ain't even gotta have this discussion. It took long because, as we see, kind of on the NBA side with the Denver Nuggets losing Connolly to the Timberwolves, man, these wealthy folks got a lot of pride and big egos, man. Sometimes they're not with reality of what's going on. Uh, and then the noise that we experience in here, they don't it takes a minute to get to them, you know what I'm saying, where they living in their little penthouse or whatever. But the reality is when you lose all world players like this, your franchise will never be the same. And it sends a message to all the other all world players across the league, like, don't mess with this team. And they don't want that problem. So the Rams, I mean, outside this period with the Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner days and Eric Dickerson days, I mean, it's exile. You know what I mean? Let's just call it what it is throughout their history. So they haven't had a lot of success outside those 3 periods. So you have something going. You know, you might want to just focus and make the right decisions, pay the players that deserve it, so you can keep this thing going, especially in the NFL, because once you hit rock bottom, it's hard to come back up. You know what I mean? It's just tough, and that's across all pro sports, but it really is. But one last question related to this before we get off: is he the greatest defensive player to ever play the game? Y'all can whoever can answer.
Nah, there's still work to be done. Still work to be done. He, you know what I give him credit for? He's in the conversation, but there's still work to be done.
Right.
There's still work to be done.
Because a lot of his peers, that's a reoccurring theme across sports. These peers get in the media and they just big up each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, go figure. But it's hard for me to put guys above like Lawrence Taylor, Ray Lewis, and Deion Sanders. Like those, look, man, those 3 right there. Even on the defensive line with Reggie White, you got to put Reggie White up there. It's like, nah, dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Like Reggie White, nah, dog. Hey, man. The Warren Saps, the Randall, nah, man. It's some animals out there, but I get it. They're gonna big up who they played against because it makes them, look better. But like you said, I agree. He got a lot of work to be done. I just wanted to throw that out there, so it's on you.
All right. Want to thank you guys for spending time with us this week. Look forward to talking to y'all next week because a lot is going to change. We're either going to be talking about an NBA champion or we'll be getting ready for an exciting Game 7, depending on what happens by the next time we speak, which also brings us closer to the NBA offseason, which is around the corner because of how quickly and compressed the year is coming off the 2 COVID seasons, right? And obviously we're not out of the pandemic, but in terms of the NBA kind of trying to get back to normal from that original schedule, the schedule originally being impacted, and then Octavia be out. We got mandatory OTAs right now. We're getting closer and closer to freaking training camps. Like we're getting there. But again, follow us on your social media, meaning just the Focus TV. Got the morning shows. We've been doing recaps after the finals games. Obviously, Mystics Outlook, things of that nature. And we'll see you guys next week. Reminder, you can watch the Focus TV every Wednesday morning on our Roku channel. All you got to do is type in the search box on Roku on your television or device. Type in the search box to Focus TV, hit enter, add the channel. And then on DC TV, Friday nights, 10 p.m., if you're in the city, obviously it's easy to tune in. If you're outside the city, all you have to do is go to dctv.org and you can watch it live on their live stream, and you can check their website to see when the show airs throughout the weekend. Y'all have a great week. This has been season 5, episode 31 of the Focus TV.